Hey everyone, this is Zach. So today we are talking about vacant land, specifically 21 questions you should ask before you buy a piece of vacant land. Or if you're a real estate agent, these are things that either you or your client should think about whenever you're searching for the right property. So we did a quick video earlier ago about wholesaling. So now we're covering vacant land, kind of 101 things you should know. So let's jump right in. 21 questions to ask before buying that vacant piece of land. Number one, what is it actually zoned for and what do you want to use the land for? So you wouldn't go to an industrial area and then build a house next to a giant warehouse. So know what zones you're looking at and what use are you looking for. And that way, even within certain zones, even if it's deemed residential, there are certain restrictions within that residential zone that you have to adhere to. So check out what it's zoned for and those restrictions within that zone. Number two, are there any public utilities nearby? Now, this could cost a lot of money if you don't have electricity, sewer, those type of things. To run those to a vacant piece of property can cost tens of thousands of dollars. For example, some utility companies, like an electric company, could charge per foot to bring out the electric to the property. So if the nearest telephone poles are a half mile away, that could be very costly. So where are the public utilities? Number three, if there are no public utilities, do you have any other options? This is starting to dive into maybe you need to have a well. Well, depending on how deep down the well needs to go for water, could cost thousands upon thousands of dollars. Second part could be if there's no sewer lines, you might need a septic. Well, if you need a septic, that's a whole nother can of worms. Has the property ever been soil tested? Has it ever perked? Can you put in a septic into this property? Does it meet current setback requirements and have the size for this system? So that's number three. If there's no public utilities, what other options are available? Number four, how can you actually access the property? Is there road frontage? Is there an easement to get to it? Is there even a legal access to it? I've seen properties that are landlocked, surrounded by other properties, and there's no way to get to it. So this can definitely affect the value of the property. It could also affect future construction if there's no way to get to it. So that's definitely something to think about. Number five, what geographic features are unique to this property? That's one of the coolest things with land is no two properties are exactly alike, whether it's different location, different uses, different attributes. So what makes this property unique? Are there low spots, maybe that they flood when it rains really heavy? Is there a cliff on the property that makes up majority of it that you didn't see on Google Maps? So make sure to check out the property beyond just Google Maps. Make sure you go to the property and actually see what makes this one unique and is it the right fit? Number six, is the property in a flood zone or a wetland? So that could kind of get more into Florida with the wetlands, but is it in a flood zone? Because this could affect building. It could make your insurance more because now you need flood insurance. It could affect the loan you're getting. So make sure to check out, is it in a flood zone and am I comfortable moving forward if it is? Number seven, cleared or wooded. This definitely affects the value of the property a lot. Is it already cleared? Like this cheesy zoom background behind me where it's kind of cleared over here, I'm backwards, or is it wooded? So that could affect the value because if there's a lot of trees to it, the cost to remove those trees, sometimes you have to get permitting in order to remove the trees. Some trees could be protected and you can't even cut those down. So this definitely affects whether you should buy that property. Number eight, and this is a unique one. You don't find this that often, but it does happen. Endangered species on the property. There's a story in Florida where they're called gopher turtles. It's just a type of turtle, but it cost $6,000 at the time to move one turtle to a protected land. So from the vacant land to the protected area, $6,000 per turtle. So check out any endangered species in the area. Number nine, are there any environmental defects? Maybe an oil spillage, maybe it used to be a gas station and there's a tank underground. Maybe there's some landfill dumpings that have been happening on the property. Environmental defects can shut down construction if you're looking to build a house on this new piece of property. Number 10. Now, this one is hard to answer, but what do the neighbors do with their properties? Maybe one of the neighbors has a gun range. Maybe they have a dirt bike track. Maybe they set things on fire. Maybe you are trying to move out into the country and think it's nice and peaceful, but the neighbors next door shoot off fireworks every single night. Well, that could affect your decision. So you might have to go back to that property a couple times to kind of check out what are the neighbors like, what are they doing with their properties, and also to see if it's similar use. If the neighbor is, again, a big industrial building, it might not be a good fit to put a nice single family home next to it. Number 11, any easements on your property. Maybe the neighbor built a fence that runs onto your property, the one you're looking to buy, and they did that several years ago. Maybe they're trying to claim part of the property through adverse possession. Maybe there's a driveway that goes right down the middle of your property to help somebody else get to theirs. Maybe there's giant utility poles running through the property. So check out if there's any easements on the property. Number 12, are there any future developments or plans in the area? You might want to know if, hey, the lot next door, they're going to run a highway through it, or next door, they're going to build a shopping center. These are all things that can affect your property, whether property taxes go up or your use changes. That's definitely something to check out. Number 13, are there any government actions coming that way? Eminent domain. Is there a historic property on it? Something where the government could play a role in deciding of whether you move forward or not. Number 14, do you get all the rights and interests to this property if you're going to buy it? So think Texas and oil. In that state, sometimes they might sell off everything below the surface and you actually don't own that. Some oil company does. So do you get everything with this property all the way to the sky, all the way down below? Number 15, future property taxes. I kind of hinted at it earlier, but are taxes in the area staying the same? Maybe the property has been owned by the same person the past 40 years, and as soon as you buy it, it's really going to reassess it, and those property taxes could go a lot higher. Number 16, is there a current survey of the property? Maybe listed, a homeowner owns 100 acres and they listed 5 acres and they want to divide it, but they haven't had a survey yet. And they say the 5 acres is this section over here. Well, without a survey, there's no way to actually confirm that. So is there a survey? Do we actually know the legal outline of this property? 17, is there a POA, a property owners association? Think of HOA, but for land. So I've seen this where certain neighborhoods, there's some homes already built. Maybe there's a couple vacant lots. Somebody's interested in that lot. Looks like a nice neighborhood. But if you're going to buy in that neighborhood, maybe they say all the homes built in the future have to be over 2,500 square feet or over 3,000 square feet or no mobile homes in this area. That could affect if you want to buy that vacant piece of land. 18. This one's a little bit random, but it's just a good thing to know. How's your cell service? And is there internet in this area? Both are things to check out, because if you want to build a home on this vacant piece of land, but you have no cell service at all, that could be a big problem. And running a cell tower is way too expensive, probably for your goals. So check out, do you have cell service? Is internet included? We actually helped my brother-in-law buy a property. They knew the internet coverage wasn't there, but they still wanted the home. And so they contacted the internet provider to see how much it cost to move out coverage to that home specifically. So check that out. Number 19, if you need a loan, have you already spoken to a lender? Land can get completely different than buying a residential house. Why? Because there could be less collateral with a vacant piece of land. There's no home to foreclose on. It's just a piece of land. So some lenders have stricter requirements. Maybe you have to put more down than a house. Maybe you need a higher credit score. So if you need a mortgage or a loan, if you need a loan to buy this property, go ahead and double check with that lender that you have everything it takes to qualify for that loan. Number 20, are your contracts clearly labeled? So this is a little bit more specifically for real estate agents, but buyers of vacant land should know this too. Is your contract clear what you are actually buying? Let's go back to the example of nice older lady. She owns 100 acres. She wants to sell 5 acres of her 100-acre lot. If both agents just write down the address and then it closes, it might be deemed that that entire 100 acres has just transferred ownership instead of the 5 that was intended. So a quick tip on your contracts could be, if you write out the address and then put parentheses, roughly 5 acres. And then you could even put that in special stipulations. This contract is for the 5 acres in the front of this address. So that way all parties are on the same page. Just make sure it's clearly labeled what is actually being transferred. Number 21, the last one. So I've been throwing a lot of different information at you, a lot of different questions to ask. Well, who do you actually contact if you have these questions? Well, I'll give you a couple names to help you out. If you're curious about property taxes or anything like that, check out property assessor's office for that city, county. So the property assessor's office. Contact county, city Planning and Zoning Commission. So that will help with different restrictions, what you can and can't do with the property. Next is public utility providers. So find the local electric company in the area, find the local water company, find the local waste department. So start contacting these public utility providers to see, is this property covered, or where are the utilities in relation to this property? Next would be builders, contractors, maybe people that could soil test or perk test the property, maybe people that have to put in wells if you need a well. So start contacting those people to start budgeting to know how much it's going to cost to actually build what you want with this land. If you just want the land for hunting and that's something different, totally cool, but just make sure you talk to the right people. Make sure you ask these 21 questions before you work on buying a piece of property. And a lot of these should be answered before you even write a contract. That way you are best protected, you and your client. If you have any questions at all with land, go ahead, schedule time with me down below. Doesn't matter if you're with our company or not. I just love to provide free content for real estate agents. Book a time with me. I'll help you out. And if you have any questions, like I said, just book me. Until next time, I'll see you guys later.